Hello, everybody. Um, I already typed this part in. This is my beautiful friend, my soul sister, Julie Persian. I hope I said your last name correctly.
You
I've
did, Julie Persson. Yeah.
see, she's corrected me a couple of times, which I'm okay with, but I'll try. But it's like, but anyway, as I put in the heading here, Julie needs our help and our support right now. Okay. Before I go any further, I just want to make sure that my Facebook page is public. Here we are. For whatever reason, with Restream, whenever I go on Facebook, it makes it private. I don't understand, so I have to make it public. So that just took a sec to do that. So I'm going to start again for anybody who just pops on. This is my beautiful sister, Julie, who needs our help and our support. We all know that we're all going through stuff right now. A lot of us are, including myself. I'm just coming out of it after a few months for me. But the reason that Julie and I are here, I actually had the honor and the privilege of meeting Julie in August of 2022 at Sology Fest in Mulberry Mountain, Ozark Mountains in Arkansas. And it was quite funny too, because Julie, I'm Julie, and I go, okay, because all I know is the images that are on Facebook land, but to see somebody physically is a different ballgame. Plus, Julie, when I say this very lovingly and respectfully, you guys see me when I play my guitar, so you guys have gotten to know me, but I never really knew Julie on a personal, you could say, level. She does have her own podcast now. I'm calling it a podcast. You can call it a show, whatever. Where she brings people on to speak their truth or the truth. Period. And um, I'm just going to say this, um, Julie. Um, sorry, before I say that, sorry, this is coming to me. But that's where I met physically Julie, and we've been connected ever since. In fact, she invited me last year, because we get to say now last year of 2023, onto her show, which I was very honored and pleased to do. And another thing too, I want to honor Julie on this level. On the show, and I was talking about how I have a difficult time talking to people. And she said something and it really resonated. It spoke truth to me. She goes, Ernie, your first voice is your guitar. I went, yeah, it is. Because that is my true voice, is my guitar, not me,
Mhm.
my guitar. And that resonated with me. And I speak of that periodically. And this is the Julie that said it to me. But getting on to Julie now, because this is the purpose for me and her being here right now. Julie um, has lived in Santa Fe, California,
Santa Fe,
for
New Mexico.
New Mexico, excuse me, and for what, 20 years?
18.
18 years. And something happened where she had an opportunity to look after this elderly gentleman. I'm going to speak truth, okay? I'm not trying to say anything to offend anybody. Julie knows that about me. So, Julie, a family, her parents more so, family friend, um, needed some help. So Julie said, sure. Well, she's been there 2 years, but Julie, I'm speaking for myself when I say this, she um, recently shared more about what she has been going through. And I'll tell you this, it has not been easy. It has not been good at all. And I'm saying this out loud, Julie, so I don't mean to be offensive as I say this. Julie's been subjected to verbal abuse, sexual abuse, verbally, and everything else. She's endured this. His children have been zero support to Julie to try to help her. And what's happened in the intern breaks my heart. It's affected Julie, her well being. And after trials and tribulations within herself, needing a job, needing income because she's a single person, solely dependent on what she brings in on a weekly or monthly basis, um, she hit that wall at the beginning of December. And so she took holidays. And while she was on holidays, she goes, I'm not coming back. And like I said, she had zero support, none from his children. It's like they took him, and instead of them have to deal with it, here, Julie, you can have him. We don't want to deal with him. And that's my view. I'm not saying that Julie's ever said that. That's my view. And nobody, I don't give a shit who you are or what an asshole you may be. Nobody deserves to be treated the way Julie has been treated. And right now, she needs our help financially, emotionally, energetically. Her prayers, our prayers to her to help her. Because with her, what's happened in the last couple of days, a couple of things have happened. Julie has been packing, getting ready to leave. Her car left on Friday with all
Yesterday. Yeah,
yesterday.
Friday. Yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. And she is flying out on Monday. Like a friend flew in to drive her car to Santa Fe, and she's flying because Julie cannot. I know this feeling. I know where she's at, and that's why I'm here to help and support my friend. And I hope you're able to. Even this is not about money, but even energy, any healing. I know she's very open to receive healing energy because she is exhausted, and she can speak about the adrenal gland fatigue that she's in and everything else. But she has set up some things. She knows exactly what she needs right now, and she's asking. And I'm proud of her for finally, and I don't mean that badly, the word finally, but for finally asking and letting us in, myself and others, right? And if you're able to help Julie financially, I meant to put this on here. We will, because we're on a few different places right now. Um, Julie, okay, when I say this, we're just flying by the seat of our pants here on all this, okay? Is I know Julie has a PayPal. I have her PayPal link, okay? Um, and because I guess we could have put that on here, but reach out to myself if you know Julie already, right? Can you actually just say, do you know what your PayPal is by chance?
Julie Pershin, Red Lotus Blue Buddha at yahoo.com, and Buddha is spelled Buddha. After the after this video is recorded and goes up on your YouTube channel, I can link my PayPal, I can link my Meal Train, I can link my Venmo, I can link my blog in case anybody wants to subscribe to that. They can do so by donation if they like. And I can also link my YouTube channel. So after this is done, I can link all those things.
I appreciate that. And here's the thing: is I'm speaking my view. I know what Julie's intentions are. Like I already mentioned that her only income is solely based on what she works on a day to day basis. So right now she has zero income, none. And when she gets into Santa Fe, like she's planning 2 weeks. I know it's going to take her longer. And if you guys are able to financially help and support her, whatever her needs are, which she'll tell you guys, it'd be much appreciated. I When I say this, I like helping people, and in this case, somebody who really needs our help. I turned around last week when Julie had posted something, and you can find her on Facebook, by the way, and 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 you can see her name spelled here. And you know, you can see more of her story and other things. Quite honestly, I lost what I was saying, but she needs our help. And for me, I want to see her not do anything for at least 1 month, if not 2 months. And the only way that is even remotely possible is by us helping her. And I don't do this easily or lightly, and it's only for somebody that I personally know, who's genuine in her heart and her soul and her being. And I'm asking you guys, as my soul family, to help my friend if you're able to, because what I did last week myself, I sent her $50. She didn't even know it was coming, and I sent her a message just so she knew. And but can I afford that $50? And I'm talking US dollars, by the way. I'm Canadian. And so it's more like 75, $80 for me. But the thing is, my friend needed that more than I needed it right now. I want to take this financial pressure off of her, mostly, importantly. I can support her in other ways. Absolutely.
like you are right now.
Yeah, exactly. But, for me, the biggest thing is the financial support. Um, and she can tell you what she's got set up. Go for it, girl.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ernestine. Yeah, as Ernestine mentioned to you, we met in Arkansas, and the reason I went up to her and said, "I'm Julie," is because through Sology found her and found her channel and listened to her music all the time and would always comment. And by my comments, it says Julie, but, I forgot, like, that doesn't mean she knows what I look like. So, but the minute I met Ernestine, there's just people that you meet in life, and the minute you see them, your heart lights up or you feel a connection. Maybe even if they don't, you just know what you feel, and you go with that. And I sorry you guys, I have to get up for a second because I shut the door where my cat's litter box is, and he needs to go in there. So
Yep.
okay, Jen.
While Julie's doing that, and here's the other part about Julie too, with her cat, he's not doing well.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go into
Yeah, yeah,
that. Including the fact that he needs subcutaneous fluids, which you can see are hanging right there. It's like a drip, like if you were to get an IV. Um, so yeah. So let me get into it, guys. So I can, because even after I get off here, I gotta, clean the house and make it presentable for the people to come home to, and finish packing my suitcase and do all the things. So, uh, Ernestine mentioned in the beginning, um, making choices that honor ourself, honor who we are, honor our integrity, honor our self-love and self-care, um, honor our boundaries and energy levels, honor what we accept and what we don't accept. And when I moved here, uh, March 2nd, 2022, um, hi, David. When I moved here, and hello, Mary. Thank you for your prayers. Um, when I moved here in March 2022, I had been living in Santa Fe for 18 years, and I felt stagnant. I kept hearing myself say, "Oh, I want to start a blog and I want to start a YouTube channel," and I wasn't doing it. And I was just kind of working and going through the motions, and I had some savings, but it was slowly dwindling because um I actually was low energy then too. I had had some traumatic events. Let's just say the past decade or so of my life has had kind of one traumatic event after another with not enough gaps in between to recoup. to include in 2020 a foot surgery right before COVID. Then COVID broke out, and then in April, my mom, my not my biological mom, my stepmom who helped raise me since I was 5, she passed away. And then on the heels of that, in August, my father passed away. And I was very low energy, I think partially because of blocked emotions and trauma and feeling like everything I put out into the world was not, the seeds weren't germinating. And so I was, feeling a little bit, I think even if I weren't conscious of it, I was traumatized by things. I was traumatized by certain things that I'm not going to say on here that happened. And then going through the foot surgery was a big deal. I couldn't put my foot on the ground for a month. I had to basically stay in bed. And I, uh, like I said, then the pandemic broke out. We were all traumatized from that. And then I lost my 2 last parents within 3 months of each other. I lost my mom when I was 19, but I lost my 2 remaining parents within months of each other. And then, I felt a calling. I felt I was supposed to leave Santa Fe for a time, and I understand the big picture now. And I won't go into all the detail. I'll give you the abridged version, but just know that when I'm on the other side of my depletion and my health issues and my financial obstacles, I am definitely going to write an autobiography that I feel will be helpful to many people and save them from some of the pitfalls that I've walked into, and also help uplift you so that you know that even when you're in the darkest, deepest depths of despair, there's always a light. So, and if you subscribe to Creators of New Earth at substack.com, I've already been telling some of my journey. So there's a couple pieces called "So You Want to Be a Caretaker," and there's some recent podcasts talking about my depletion, and so it's a way to follow up on the journey if you're interested. So I want to say that um, for the past 2 years, I've been working 4 months at a time with no day off. 4 months of work, 1 week off. 4 months of work, 1 week off. 4 months of work, 1 week off. I agreed to that. I accept responsibility for my decisions. That, along with the emotional piece of taking care of somebody who has early onset dementia and can't really help at all around the house, and then just the mental fatigue of doing that, there's so much I could teach you about caretaking and what it does to the physiology. It takes 6 to 8 years off of your life. It wreaks havoc on your central nervous system. You can end up with things like heart attacks or cancer. I ended up with the latter, not the former. When I came here, I weighed 122 pounds. I now weigh 111 pounds. My cat was healthy. I was healthy, and Ken was unhealthy. Now Ken's much healthier, and my cat and I are much unhealthier. And my cat's taken a hit for me because our animals entrain themselves to our physical and mental state, and they take that on whether they want to or not. And if we're depleted, it depletes them. Um, I This started off as a well, it didn't start off as a magical journey, but I turned it into one. When I got here, there was supposed to be a room ready for me to move into. And I thought, how wonderful, because I had just gotten rid of 90% of my personal possessions and unloaded a 3-bedroom house. And it took from November till the very end of February to do that. That means going to consignment shops, bringing stuff there, going to Goodwill, having yard sales, giving stuff away, bringing stuff to friends, um, organizing all that. The average American has 333,000 items in their house. So just imagine moving out of your house, but you're not moving from point A to B. You're getting rid of everything. And you get rid of every last paper clip, every last mason jar, every last item of clothing, every last book, every single thing you own. Imagine doing that in a period of 3 months while you're working. And it was a choice. I wanted to become a minimalist, and I did it. But it took a lot of energy, and I'm saying this because there's a bigger picture here, right? So I've already said the past 10 years were really hard. And then 2020, there was the foot surgery, there was COVID, there was my parents passing away. And then, the end of 2022 rolled around, and now it's me getting rid of all my stuff, which takes a lot of energy. I don't know if you've ever tried to do it. It's one of the hugest feats I've ever pulled off in my life. And so what I'm saying is I was already a little depleted before I got here, because imagine I had just gotten rid of all my stuff, cleaned my rental out top to bottom, front to back, making it perfect so I could get my deposit back. I was told there would be I packed all my stuff up, put it in my car, had somebody drive it out, got on a plane with my cat. He had never flown, and I just thought, "Wow, I can go to this bedroom that's ready to receive me and unpack my things and just, you know, go easy for a minute, take care of Ken but not put a lot of pressure on myself, and just rest for a week or two while I get into the groove of taking care of him." I got here. It took me a month. After what I had just gone through, I basically had to do that whole thing again. It took me a month. I slept on the couch with my cat. There was no room for me. The room was full of a dead person's things. And that person was, so Ken is the man I was taking care of. He had a partner named Frances. She passed away of cancer. And the bedroom I was to stay in was her old bedroom. None of her children came to go through any of her things or to even help this family um, make room for me. And this family certainly didn't do it. There was a son in LA. He didn't fly up to do it. The son in Portland apparently made a crack at it, but when I got here, it was like it had not been touched. And she was pretty much a hoarder. So not only, and it's a big bedroom, and there was 12 pieces of furniture in it. Every drawer, the walk-in closet was full, top to bottom. Her hair was still in the bathroom drawers. Like it was like she lived here yesterday. It was not ready to receive me. And the yard was a mess. It, it hadn't been taken care of for a while. There was furniture that needed to go to the dump. The house had not been maintained probably the whole time these guys were living here, but it had also been fallow for 6 months. So there was mice pee and poop in the heating ducts, and it smelled like ammonia in the house. Now I was all of a sudden the house manager and the secretary. I live in a very small community in Depot Bay. You don't just call a plumber and he comes over the next day. You call 3 or 4 plumbers, and maybe in 3 weeks you could find somebody. And that's what it was like that whole first month. It's like, call somebody to come clean out the heating ducts and vents. Call somebody to um, shampoo the carpets. Call somebody to test the house for mold. Call somebody to, oh, now we have to call the firefighter because something smells funny. What is that funny smell? Well, it's the heater. It's about ready to turn on to go to start burning down the house. So they say to me, it's a good thing you guys called us, because if you would have let this go even half an hour more or an hour more, it would have started into a fire. So you're seeing that this is a house that was not ready to receive anyone, let alone somebody who had just gone through what I went through. So that was how it started. So I was already fatigued, and I had to sleep on a couch for a month and, clean out the freezer and make the kitchen workable, because there was too much of everything in there, and the whole house was dirty, and I had to hire cleaners and all of the people I just talked about. And play phone tag with people and set up an appointments and coordinate payments and all of this. And I was supposed to come here. The agreement was there was a room ready for me. There was going to be a car I could use, and the house was ready. None of those things were true. I did not fly here first from Santa Fe to check it out. I would have done that. I should have come here and said, nope, sorry. When you get everything in order, maybe I'll be back. Or no, I can't do this. Right? My bad. My other bad is I never researched caretaking. What do professional contracts look like? What do they pay for? What do you not pay for? What are some of the physiological and financial fallouts of being a caretaker? Right? We had no written contract. Everything was verbal. Again, who's that on? Me. So I came here in a depleted state. That next month depleted me further. And then there were all these things that I had to go through with the person that I caretake for. The constant comments on, my ass, or being told when he takes a shower and I'm trying to dry his feet, like, oh, well, I ask him to cover up. Well, you better cover up because I don't want you to get turned on by my penis. And just on and on and on. I'm going into too much detail here. But so he had a big health scare last December because he did not support me in changing his diet around and drink water. And so I finally said to the family, I'm moving out unless I'm allowed to help implement changes to get this guy's health where it needs to be, because I'm not going to be driving him to the emergency room all the time. And so when I got here, he had a lot of health problems that he no longer has. It was a lot of tug of war and push pull between him and me, because you're trying to get an 84-year-old make changes in his life that he doesn't want to make. And this is somebody who sits in a chair all day and watches TV and then goes to bed and wakes up and does it again. He's sometimes on his computer. So he's not all here. He's not present. There's a tug of war to try to make health changes. He's of no help around the house. I do every last thing because he's incapable. He walks with a walker. So all the laundry, all the grocery shopping, taking him to his doctor's appointments, doing all the grocery shopping, all the cooking, which I agreed to. I did not agree to be a house manager and a secretary and do everything that I did that first month. I didn't see the big health scare and the amount of energy that was going to take. Right on the heels of that, he decides he wants to get all his teeth pulled out because they were rotting, and go into dentures. So that was 6 months of figuring out, okay, how do I get this guy enough fiber? How do I get this guy enough protein? How do I get this guy enough calories? If he's going to be having all blended foods, right? And so for 6 months, I blended his food, and I was like, okay, I started learning, like how many grams of fiber in a banana, all this kind of stuff, right? So now we've gone through one major diet and lifestyle change, and now we're going through another one on the heels of that. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And his memory continues to get worse and worse and worse. And here I am working 4 days a week for, 7 days a week for 4 months at a time. And I'm getting more and more and more and more and more and more and more depleted. So I arrived in March 2022, and March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July, July to August. So that's 5 months. I went to Arkansas. I was gone for a week. Then it was September, October, November, December. December rolled around, and I said, I need a break, guys. And I kept texting the person every couple days saying, hey, when am I going to get this break? When am I going to get this break? Finally, two weeks later, they respond. They get here, they see the state I'm in, and they said, oh, your energy is very different. I said, yeah, well, in 9 months, I've only had a week off, right? Because I got time off in August. Now here comes December. I still hadn't had any more time off. So I got 2 weeks off. It was going to be a week, but it turned into 2 weeks. And I should have known back then that's when my central nervous system was already starting to crumble and crash. Every single system in your body, your respiratory system, your circulation, your digestion, your brain function, every single function in your body is tied to your central nervous system. I have had events in my life that I look back on and I realize, oh, that was a central nervous system uh, shock and trauma that affected the central nervous system. And that's exactly what this job has done. I've been taking a course online called the 21-Day Tune-Up with the queen of the central nervous system. Her name is Irene Lyon, and I'm learning intimately about the central nervous system. And the cancer in my breast doesn't even scare me. I realized through finding German new medicine that means my body is healing a trauma from the past. And the only reason it's even healing the trauma from the past is all the good work I've been doing on myself while I've been here. The cancer doesn't even scare me. It's a non-issue. Being exhausted scares the shit out of me because in this state of exhaustion, you can't heal from cancer. And in this state of exhaustion, you can't work. And in this state of exhaustion, if you can't work, how are you supposed to feed yourself and feed your cat and um, take care of his vet bills, which are now about $400 a month? So it's everybody, because we're so programmed by the medical system to think that, oh, cancer, it's a death sentence, and oh, we think chemo, radiation, and all these horrid stories, and we know people who've died of it because they didn't have the right information. They didn't understand the fungal components or the parasite components. So they didn't know the alternative ways to heal it, right? And so um yeah, people hear my situation, they're like, "Oh, cancer." And I just want to say, you know what? Step inside my body. Live in my body for a day and ask yourself if you could function. Could you make a meal for yourself? The day Ken left for my vacation, and even a week before he left, I'd wake up, fix his meal, go back to sleep. Wake up, fix his meal, go back to sleep. Take the cat outside, feed the cat, go back to sleep. And I could fix maybe a meal for myself. I couldn't chop vegetables and stand in front of a stove and cook and focus and think. I'd go into the kitchen and I'd set something down, and then I'd look for it, and then I would, oh, it's in my hand. I mean, I was so fatigued, and I had such utter dysregulation of my central nervous system. And it was scaring me because I'm a person who is energetic. I'm on it. I have my wits about me. I'm intelligent. I know what the fuck I'm doing all the time. And this was like, I didn't even recognize myself as a person. Totally scary, and can't feed yourself. And you do not want to lose weight while you have cancer. You're supposed to be getting extra calories and nutrients. You're supposed to be getting, you know, anyway, it doesn't matter. The exhaustion, you guys, that's the part I'm worried about, because the exhaustion also ties into the money piece. Because if you're exhausted and you can't work, then what? Then what? So I had a meeting with the sons. I was so out of it before the vacation. I sent them an email and said, it's been business. It's been all business. It needs to get more intimate. I need a meeting. And I thought that if I just make some changes, like getting some help in here a couple days a week, uh, that maybe I could continue to do it in my state of exhaustion with cancer while trying to take care of a cat who now needs subcutaneous fluids. I thought I was going to be able to take care of an 85-year-old man. That's how out of it I was. When he left and I saw my state and my utter dysregulation and my inability to take care of myself and how depleted I was, it was very scary. But, hi Jay, you want to come up here? But, so I had a meeting. I prayed to my ancestors. I prayed to their ancestors. I prayed to my spirit guides. I prayed to my higher self. I prayed to myself as I am. I made prayers. And I prayed that the meeting go well. The meeting didn't go well at all. I was asked questions like, why haven't you gotten a second job while you're there? Why didn't you build yourself a social network? I was told that it wasn't, it wasn't their fault that I had cancer and a dysregulated nervous system and I'm exhausted and my cat's in the state he's in. To which I replied, I take full accountability and responsibility for my decisions. I'm just asking if you see the connection of depletion between working 7 days a week for 9 months and 4 months at a time. And this isn't a punch in and punch out job. The TV's on 12 hours a day. I'm in the kitchen and, I'm going back and forth because Ken has something he wants to tell me or something he wants to say, or he's distracting me while I'm trying to do something. There's the dementia, which if you live with somebody with dementia, it literally, and you can look this up yourself, causes inflammation in your own body. They weren't hearing it. They came here with one thing in mind. They parked across the street. They could have parked right in front of the house. So already I knew when I saw that car, the car is body language. They wanted to distance themselves from the house because they had fear about something. And then I go to the door to open it for them because that's the type of person I am. And they're walking across the yard, and one of them says to the other, well, the advantage you have is that you're not hungover. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, if you're coming here in peace and love, looking for solutions for your father and the person who's keeping him alive, why do you need an advantage? An advantage over who? An advantage over what? And second of all, why in God's name, for such an important meeting, a crucial meeting about the care of your father, would you show up less than clear or lucid, having poisoned your body the night before? It showed no respect for the father, no respect for themselves, and certainly no respect for me. I had written an email that I put a lot of effort to. It took me hours. I was so drained, I couldn't write it all in one sitting. And I said, I'm asking you, I texted them, I said, I'm asking you to read the email in a quiet room without distraction a few days before the meeting so you can really soak it in and reflect. There were so many questions asked at the meeting. I said, I'm sorry, you guys, you keep asking questions that I answered in the email. Did you read the email? Well, we didn't read every single detail. Okay. So I knew from sending a previous email the year before when I had to ask for my pay to be more than $500 because I told them, I said, you know what, you guys, I'm depleting my own savings taking care of your dad because $500, how am I supposed to live on $500? So part of the original agreement was that I had a roof over my head, right? And I wasn't paying rent. So I don't know about you, but even if you are paying rent, I mean, $500, that's like, it cost me $620 a month just to feed my cat and I. And there was supposed to be a car here, but now I'm paying my own car insurance. I'm paying for my car maintenance. I'm paying for my own gas. I'm paying for, right? Where is that car that was supposed to be here? So finally, I talked him into some gas money every month. I made a lot of bad decisions. I'm not making these out to be bad guys. They would have treated anybody like they treated me. I don't take it personally. I didn't come with a contract. I didn't fly here first. I overworked myself. Who's responsible for that? Me. Are they the bad guys? No. You know who they are? They're exactly who they are. So, you know, Brian, oh, I didn't want to say any names. One of the sons who asked me to come be here really thought he was doing me a favor. He was managing, he owns two restaurants. he wasn't feeling like he could, like it was a strain on his marriage, a strain on his life to try to take care of his dad and do all this, right? Because his dad had to leave the house because he got his gallbladder removed. And then he had to go to a rehab center. And now his partner, Ken's partner, Frances, who died of cancer, was off in Europe. And that's where she passed away. And Ken couldn't take care of himself if he came back home. So he was living with Brian. And the other son, well, he's in LA and he was not contributing in any way, financially or physically. And so Brian was like, perfect. Julie needs a change from Santa Fe and I need some help. And so we both thought it was a great idea. I wouldn't have come here if I didn't think it was a great idea. I'm from Oregon. I'm from 2 hours north of here on the coast. I'm living on the coast now. It has been a godsend to live by the ocean, to be by the woods. I've done so much healing on myself. Before I was depleted, I did start that blog. I did start that podcast. I did a lot of writing. I brought some guests on my YouTube channel. It was really fun. I'm going to keep going with it. I did a lot of journaling. I did a lot of internal work. I did a lot of life review. I did a lot of looking at ancestral patterns, looking at parallels between my parents' life and my life. I've been dedicated to ancestral healing and healing of myself for a long, long time. And so I was here doing that work, and there's some very magical stories about it that will come out in the book. It's like the guy across the street, his name is Laird Brown. Well, my dad's name is Larry. People sometimes call his Larry. He had a daughter named Julie that died when she was very young. My name is Julie. He had a wife that was mentally ill. I had a mom who was mentally imbalanced. Then Ken's best friend, her name is Jane Richardson. My dad's mom, my grandma's maiden name is Janice Richardson. They had a beach house 12 miles north of here. I knew when I came here that this was about an ancestral cleanup on aisle 5. And it's clearly karmic between Ken and I, too. And what's interesting is his son, who hired me to do this job, drove a car that got in an accident when I was 15 and almost killed me. I bled to death. I almost bled to death. Half the blood in my body. My dad got to the hospital. They said, "How's she doing?" He said, "We're going to try to save her. She's lost a lot of blood." So there's there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of moving parts. This isn't just like, I came here, these people abused me, feel bad for me, please send money. It's much more complex, you guys. It's much, 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 much more complex. But the fact of the matter is, I am depleted. I did make certain choices. I do need help. I don't have an easy time asking for help. I'm used to being on the giving end. Obviously, I'm a caregiver. I've been a caregiver all my life because my mom jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and you have to save everybody because you couldn't save your mom. And that's the program that I've been running. So I'm done with that pattern. And I'm ready to heal this depletion. And I understand where the cancer came from. And it's not bad that I have it. It's actually proof that I'm healing, which makes me feel so good about all the work I did on myself before I entered the depletion phase. So much bare feet on the ground, so much time at the ocean, so much time meditating in front of a tree and really grounding to my Mother Earth and her support, and so much really understanding my core and what's me and what's patterns, my own and ancestral and beyond. And I am an example. I've been praying at my altar since I got here. I relinquish my will to the will of God. I've been praying, please use me, Lord. Use me as an example. Like Saint Francis said, right? Make me an instrument of thy peace. When I zoom out, I see myself on the other side of this. I see myself financially safe and comfortable. I see myself healthy. I see myself not depleted. And I see myself writing a book that will help many, 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 many people. Because they'll know, don't just walk into a house and move into it. without knowing the feng shui of the house. There's something called an illness star in this room. I've been sleeping under it for 2 years, and so has my cat. What are the chances that I got sick, my cat got sick, the lady before me died of cancer, and the man before her that lived in this bedroom died of cancer? That's feng shui. People need to know about it. People need to know about a lot of things, about ancestral healing, about the central nervous system, about the fact that you can do tree pose all day long and meditate and chant and do yoga till the cows come home. But trauma lives in the body. And as long as there's trauma in the body, the cells will replicate with the trauma. And the trauma is stored in the central nervous system. So you gotta understand inside and out. What is the central nervous system? It's vast, you know? It's vast with parasympathetic and sympathetic and the polyvagal nerve and the this and the that and the other. And how do you work with it? How do you befriend it? There's so much, you guys. I've been on the planet for 56 years, and I've, like many humans, been to hell and back many times, and I've got a lot to say, and I'm ready to share my wisdom. But in order to do that, I have to now take care of me. And so, all the ways that I've helped people throughout my life, whether it was physically, emotionally, financially, or other, I am open to receiving in return. Because at this point in my life, and maybe never again, I can no longer afford to be the caretaker. I can't. I can take care of this world by living by example, by taking care of myself, by healing myself. And the way that I can help others is by being an example, maybe not by helping them directly anymore. It's not to say that if a friend, you know, needs to move from point A to B and they need a few boxes packed, or they got a kid that's sick and they got to be at home and they want someone to go to the grocery store. I'm not saying I'm never helping anybody anymore, but my limits and boundaries and ideas of that are very different now because I've almost killed myself more than once trying to save people. And I can't do it anymore. And now I need your help. So, whatever way you can help, whether that's sending healing energy, preferably with my permission first, so I know what kind and when and all of that. Helping out through PayPal or Venmo, helping out through Meal Train, or whatever you can think of that I'm not thinking of. So, um, I will say too that during the meeting, I let them know hey guys, that first year that I worked here, it cost me $10,000 of my own saving to keep myself afloat. And, I was paying for my own car insurance and my own repairs, and there was supposed to be a car. So what about that? And what about the fact that it's going to cost money to take care of my cat and to heal my cancer and to do all this thing? And it's going to be a while before I can even work again. So they offered to pay a couple months rent for me. So I say that to say that I'm not trying to make them look like, well, they did this and they did that, and I'm the victim and they didn't do shit and da 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 da. Like, they helped me buy some tires to put on my car. They helped me buy a computer when my computer broke down. They gave me a couple months rent. I'm not going to weigh it out and say what I feel about it. I'm going to say that's what they did do. And I'm going to say I'm grateful. I just didn't want you to be under the impression that I only have $1 to my name. I don't have what I need to keep my life going as far as, healing my cancer and paying all my vet bills and covering my life expenses. I just want you to know I'm not $1 away from living in my car. I'm being transparent is what I'm being here. I'm saying that that money that I have allows me to maybe not work for 2 weeks or not work for a month. But if I'm to be honest with myself, just like Ernestine said, I need a little more. I mean, bare minimum, I would not work for 2 months. I haven't been this depleted ever before in my life, but I've had central nervous system dysregulation. I just didn't know that that's what it was called at the time, and it took me about 2 or 3 years to put it back together in hindsight. And that wasn't while taking care of a cat that needs subcutaneous fluids and regular vet visits or having cancer. So that's the big picture. That's some of the backstory. That's the transparency. This is an adult who has, in some ways, done a very poor job of adulting by making decisions out of fear, actually. The reason I put up with this for so long was because I was afraid I would end up living in my car. And I the reason that I didn't move quicker is because once I found out the state of my cat's health, I thought, "Oh my god, I can't put him through a big transition when he's got kidney deficiency and he's 16 years old." And then I realized, "Oh my god, if you don't do it now, you'll never be able to do it because 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road, he really won't be able to go." So I had to make a jump for it now. And I'm moving back to Santa Fe because I lived there for 18 years and I have community there. I don't have community in Depot Bay. I have a few friends, but it's one of the things you need when you're healing from cancer or healing from any major thing is you need community. A lot of people in Santa Fe are struggling right now too. I know somebody, they and their partner are working full time and they're still having a hard time making ends meet and feeding their own children, you know? And they're stressed out too. It's hard for them to put together a meal for themselves. It's not just me. I could tell you story after story after story about what people are going through right now. I know people have worked their whole lives in the service industry as nurses and whatever, and now they're retired and they're rubbing two sticks together to make a penny, you know? Like, it's not just me. I get it. This isn't a narcissistic report about Julie made all these mistakes and she was a victim and, you know, now just make it all better. This is also a testimony to taking responsibility for my choices and actions and just saying that I've always been doing the best I can, even if I wasn't making the best choices. And that my intentions are always to I'm not a malintended person, you know? I wish to help people, but who I wish to help the most right now are myself and my cat. And, I did say those prayers at my altar, make me an example. I surrender my will to the will of God. And so my life is falling apart so that it can be rebuilt, not by Julie's will, but by God's will, by a co-creation between Source and Julie Pershin, so that people will be able to see you can be at the bottom of the barrel, afraid that you won't get the respite you need, and so you won't be able to heal, and you're going to end up in your car, and then, like, watch this journey. Watch me traverse this path. Watch me come out on the other side and use it as a source of inspiration. This is an initiation into deep faith and surrender and trust in source. And it's like falling without a net, except there's a net, but you can't see it. And I don't want to say the same thing over and over in different ways. I think you get what I'm communicating here about my situation, about choices, about faith and surrender, and surrendering to something much bigger than ourselves that we are a part of, right? There's a tapestry, there's a web that has no weaver, and each of us are a strand in that web, and we all play a role. And this is the role I'm playing right now. And I want to see you on the other side of where I am now and share my story in about a year and let you know how it's been going. I'll keep you posted all the way along. If you want to subscribe to my blog, Julie Pershin at substack.com, Creators of New Earth at substack.com. I also have a YouTube channel called Creators of New Earth. I think the handle is Creators of New Earth 369. I also have a link to an online platform where I sell T-shirts. There's only one up there right now, and it says, "Wherever you stand, fill that place with love." So there are many ways to contribute. You can buy a T-shirt. You can subscribe to the blog. You can donate through Venmo. You can donate through PayPal. You can um, send good vibes. You can do whatever moves your heart. You can become part of the meal train. Um, or you can do nothing because you are helping me reinforce my own boundaries, because you realize that more than offering love and support in the form of powerful words sound power, that you're recognizing your own limitations at this time and that you don't have it in you to give even $5. And you're going to honor yourself in that knowing, and you're not going to reach out to help me in that way, thereby teaching me how not to overstep my own boundaries with my resources, time, and energy. So I want to thank you, Ernestine, so much um, for offering me this support. I tried to make a video on my Restream, it wasn't working. I tried to make a video on my phone, I couldn't upload it. Uh, Facebook has blocked me from doing lives because I've told too much truth about the and I yeah, I think it was spirit saying, "Okay, well, you're talking about receiving help, so we're not going to let you do this video yourself. You're going to have to do it through another channel. You're going to have to receive support to make this video." So, duly noted. Here we are. Thank you for being my soul sister. Thank you for caring. Uh, Thank you so much, Sology Network, because without you, Ernestine and I, and people like David C. Wright and Delia Flores would not even know one another. And somebody says, "I love you, but I don't have glasses on." So whoever just said, "I love you," I love you
That's
too.
Fran. You met her at Sology Fest in 2022. Fran, the one. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's it, guys. No need to talk in circles. I think everything I said is pretty clear, right? I think when
You
I
did
communicate
beautifully, by the way.
clear.
You did. And this really attests to Julie's strength. No matter how depleted she is, there's this amazing strength that she has. And I don't allow people to come on my space here easily. But, when Julie reached out to me the other day, and I said, not a problem. Yeah, we'll do it. And I think she was surprised by my response, because it was not, well, I didn't make it complicated. I said, yep, done. Right. And she was like, okay. And it's because we're so used to dealing with people who try to complicate things, and I don't like complications. I don't like chaos. I don't like drama. I don't try to make something into something that's not. And and That's where we create our own communities. Just like Julie was saying, that if it wasn't for Sology Network or just Sology itself, I would have never met Julie. Ashley Lee's on here, David, Delia,
Ashley.
Fran, and there's many, many others, right? I'm creating my own community. But because of us connecting the way we connect, because we connect at a soul level, don't try to do the right thing from here, because that's one of the messages that Julie really said very clearly. If you didn't watch this from the beginning, I'm going to encourage you afterwards, go back, watch in the beginning, watch this entire thing, because there's so much information, intel for us to understand ourselves and how we compromise ourselves for the sake of helping somebody else. This is why I'm helping my friend, my sister here. And if you're able to financially, energetically, with your prayers, please. But like Julie said herself very clearly, if you want to do energy healing, please reach out to me privately. I want to know what you're doing before I allow you to assist and help me. I respect that because she's very knowledgeable in a lot of ways, as you've experienced, if you've witnessed this entire incredible, beautiful share that she has been sharing here. And we think, because of our situations that we put ourselves into, that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us. We try to do the right thing from our hearts. And it's like, Julie was very clear. The fact is, her intentions, if she knew different, she'd do it differently. Then that's not beating herself up. She's acknowledging and taking responsibility. She should have looked into this more further. I'm using the word should, and I don't use that word very often. I'm going to rephrase that and say she could have done some research to find out more about this. And in fact, she doesn't even realize that she knows somebody that's a caregiver. And if I would have known some of this, I would have said, "You need to, you're it's clicking to you now."
Janet Herman? Janet Herman?
Uh, no, I was thinking of, she was at Soul G Fest in 2022. She's now moved back to her home country, not Portugal.
Guatemala?
What?
Astrid Castillo? De Castillo?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And here's the thing about all of this, and this is a great example. Guatemala. Thank you very much, Delia and Astrid. And here's the thing: is this. If we don't share what our needs are, we cannot help others to connect with others. Because I love connecting people to other people. And personally, and my beautiful sisters and brothers that are on here right now know how much courage this amazing, incredible soul being has to say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need help. And to start asking, not expecting, but letting people in on what's going on. And it's this is where we all get to help each other. And I was sharing with Julie privately before we come on here, because a lot of people don't know what I go through on a day-to-day basis because I don't talk about it. But here's the thing: is this is that the only thing, and this is a great example because I can really be compassionate and empathetic and everything towards Julie, because the only thing I've been able to do for the last, what, year and a half, is play my guitar. And that's, I'm not bullshitting you. You may think because I'm playing and all this little, oh, she did, you have no idea every single day what a lot of us, I'm going to use the word struggle, but not struggle, because I will not beat myself up because of what I need to do on a day in and day out basis in order to survive and live. But it's about, sorry, I lost my thought. And but oh, I know it. Because it doesn't matter, because it's like Julie. She doesn't go, "Woe's me." She even everything she's the state that she's in right now. She just blew me away even more so. I have so much more respect for her. for sharing what she just shared with us all. And I'm sure you guys feel the same. And, you know, all I'm going to say is this: keep her in your thoughts or your prayers, number one. That's a big one. If you're able to help out in any way, shape, or form, she's going to be putting on here afterwards all the information, her PayPal, Venmo, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's going to be putting that on here afterwards. And so you guys all have access. If you want to find her on Facebook, very easy to find, Julie Persha, and you see her name spelled out there. If you want me to connect you with her, reach out to me. I'll connect you with her because I don't want to be an in between that relationship with whoever wants to help her. I'll be a go between to connect you to her.
The other thing I would say about prayer is prayer is really powerful, right? So prayer is basically another word for intention. So if you're making intentions for me and putting that into the quantum field, that's going to affect me for better or for worse. So I would ask that your prayer for me be that Source or God and Julie Pershin find what's in my highest good for me as a way of co-creating together. Because if you might have some intention and it's really good, but maybe co-creation and I were trying to do, this, and your intention is something totally different. It affects the quantum field, and I'm super sensitive. So, you know, um, yes, I'm willing to tap into my inner abundance. And yes, I'm willing to tap into my ability to receive. And yes, I'm, you know, willing to there's a lot of willingness in me about a lot of different things, but I think saying something too specific, um, we just have to be very careful. So,
Thank
you
you.
know, if you have a prayer for me, make it that, you know, that everything that happens in my life from here forward is a co-creation between me and source. And, if you want to pray for me, pray that I keep on having the strength to surrender my will to the will of love, because that's what I am. I'm love, you're love, you're God, he's God, she's God. We may not be the one and only creator, right? But like I said, we are we are the web that has no weaver, and each of us is a strand. So we are all fractals of God. Um, so it's not necessarily praying about what you want for me. It's more about praying about what source and I want to co-create. So however you want to think about that when you set your intention or say a prayer for me, those are the kind of prayers that I would like.
Thank you for that because you, I love the, when I say I have my own way of saying things, but what I love about Julie, she's very, very clear because she knows. And when I say this is, even myself, I'm very careful about what I say, what I think, first of all, let alone what I say. And for me is I thank you for that, and because that's part of all of this. And I'm going to connect you with somebody who's actually on here right now. She said the cat, and I know this person. Okay, she's a healer for animals. Plus,
Hmm.
so I'm going to connect you and Nikki afterwards. Okay, and but I'm going to leave that with you too. But I'll connect you guys after we're off here. I'll send you her Facebook link directly, and
Okay.
you guys can connect, and I'll vice versa yours to her. Okay.
Okay.
Like some of the beautiful. When I say this, I've had the pleasure, of course, meeting Julie physically. Delia, I got to meet her in 2022 at Soulgy Fest.
Ashley.
Ashley Lee, right? And Ashley Lee and I were at Soulgy Fest this past year, And in fact, we stayed in the same house. It was wonderful. And
And Fran, you met
yeah,
Fran. Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, met Fran there. Nikki, I have not met Nikki yet. But there's people I've been connected with for a few years, and you guys just ask Julia exactly what she needs. Simply put, and I'll connect you with her if you want her Facebook link. Just let me know. Send me a DM. Don't put a message on here. That doesn't work for me because these are that's
Yeah,
one
I
thing.
never see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. So Ernestine, thank you so much. I know, I remember I told you a while ago, and it never left your memory that your first language is music. And here you are with all these words in helping me. And it's a big deal because you don't get on here and talk, you get on here and play music. And so that's really going the extra mile. And I see it and I want to honor that and recognize it and show my gratitude. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And as you know, if you weren't who you are, we wouldn't be sitting here right now with all these incredible people around us.
Thank you.
And it's my honor. It's my pleasure. Anyway,
All right. Well, I feel like that wraps it up. Um, I think it would be great if when we close it out, um, you don't disappear right away on the
gotcha.
in the virtual green room. Okay.
I understand. I think I'll try to end this without disconnecting us. Okay. Anyway, look, everybody. Thank you very much for hanging in there. If you haven't listened to this from the very beginning, I encourage you to go back, listen to the beginning all the way through this. There's so much incredible information for you to understand my beautiful friend here, Julie, who needs our help and support. And I made it very clear at the beginning of when I was talking before she starts speaking, is this is what I'm going to before we go here. This is what I do know what her intentions are. She's already looking for another job, you guys. This woman doesn't sit back and okay, I'll wait till I'm better. She doesn't do that. She's very proactive. She's already looking for jobs. She's already doing things.
I already have a modeling gig for the last week of January at a portrait studio, and I already have a house cleaning job for 2 times a month, and I already have two other people who want to talk to me about cleaning their house. But
So okay,
I
when I
gotta
say
take it slow.
yeah, and when I say this, this just tells you who this incredible being is. She's not sitting back, like she made very clear through her entire sharing. I'm not looking for woes, me, poor me. Fuck no. This woman is very courageous. The amount of strength she actually has to even sit here right this very moment, because I know how much it's taken her just to sit here today and to share all this, which is hard and painful. Okay. And to know what she's already got in the oven already, trying to, like you just heard what she just said, but I want my friend here. I like to see her at least 1 month, but I like to see 2 months, quite honest, if not longer. But the only way she can do this is with our help and so our support. Okay. And all I can do is ask if you're able to. And that's one thing in my books only if you're able to. Only if you're able to, because do not compromise putting food on your own table or anything else. But if you're able to, and that's the thing, every person that's on here right now or later, you'll know your limitations. Please honor that. And, you know, yeah, we'll end it there. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Hugs and loves. And
Thank you, Ashley, David, Fran, Nikki, Delia, and that's. I don't want to miss anybody. Yep. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you all. And if you're watching this, and Mary Smith, and if you're watching this on the replay, thank you as well. Okay. Ciao, ciao. We'll see
See you
you
guys.
later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.